Today we are starting a new reader book. The title of our reader book is called Sam. Let's take a look at some important parts of our book before we begin. The front cover always gives the title of our story. When we open up our book, we come to this page. This is called the table of contents for our reader, Sam. These are each of the stories that are in our reader, and it tells us the page that we are going to start on. Today, we are going to be working on Sam and the fish. So, what page am I going to go to? Page 2. That is correct. Before we begin our story, there are a couple vocabulary words that are very important for today's story. The first one is pond. Pond is a small lake. Here is an example of it in a sentence. I go to the pond to swim on hot days. Our second word is going to be rod. Rod is a pole used for fishing. Here is our word in a sentence. I will use my new rod for the fishing trip. So the first time through the story, Mrs. Johnston is going to read. I'm going to use my arrow to point, and you can follow along. The second time through, we are going to practice the story together. And the third time through, you will practice on your own. Let's start with today's story title, Sam and the Fish. This is Sam. Sam and his dad fish in a pond. Sam's dad brings a rod. Sam brings a net. Sam and his dad sit and sit. Then zap! Sam's dad gets a fish. The fish jumps. The fish twists and swims. Sam's dad tugs on the rod. The fish swims past Sam. Sam swings his net. Sam lifts up the net. The fish is in the net. Sam and his dad grin. And that was the end of that story. So I'm going to scroll back up And now we get to practice reading the story together. Are we ready? You can point at the computer screen as well while we practice. Sam and the fish. This is Sam. Sam and his dad fish in a pond. Sam's dad brings a rod. Sam brings a net. Sam and his dad sit and sit. Then zap! Sam's dad gets a fish. The fish jumps. The fish twists and swims. Sam's dad tugs on the rod. The fish swims past Sam. Sam swings his net. Sam lifts up the net. The fish is in the net. Sam and his dad grin. Now I'm going to scroll back up one last time, and it's your turn to practice reading. Pause this page, practice reading, and when you're ready, unpause. Great job practicing this page. Let's move to the next page. Pause the video. Practice reading this page of our story. When you're finished, unpause to move to the next one. Great job practicing. Let's move to the next page. Pause the video so you can practice reading this page. When you are finished, unpause. Great job practicing. Let's move to the next page. Pause the video, practice this page, and when you're finished practicing, unpause. Great job reading today, friends. You are getting much more fluent in your reading, and you're starting to notice some of those words that are familiar with you. If you want some extra practice, you can always replay the video and listen to the story, or you can always start it and pause and read on your own, and then when you're finished, you can move to the next page. After the story, there will be some questions that you and the adult helping you today will go over.